welcome back to the More Than Words podcast, where we go behind the stories to talk about romance, creativity, and the book community that shapes it all. I'm your host, Dakota Willink, USA Today bestselling author of Dark-ish Billionaire Romance. Today, I am joined by none other than Nana Malone. Nana is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestselling author who writes sexy, feel-good romance filled with adventure, kick-butt heroines, and irresistible chemistry. But before Nana was a bestselling author, she was a 13-year-old in Ghana sneaking a tattered romantic suspense novel from her cousin in a sultry summer afternoon and falling in love with romance forever. Sounds familiar. I remember sneaking out those books. With an overactive imagination and a little inner Buffy energy, it was only a matter of time before she started creating heroines of her own. And fun fact for those who don't know, Nana has literally been on her own book cover icon. So that said, before I bring Nana in, I would like to remind everyone, like I always do, to hit that like button. It's very important because it feeds the algorithm on YouTube and allows people like you to find us easier. Believe it or not, it really, really does make a difference. So go ahead, smash the like, and I will go ahead and bring Nana in. Let's get to it. Hello, gorgeous. How
Hi,
are you?
Dakota, how are you?
Good. I haven't talked to you in a while. I was actually really looking forward to this one, like this recording, because I don't know, you're always fun. So I'm like, this is gonna be a fun one.
I'm fun, girl. Shit's stressful.
It is. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I know. I was actually talking to Zio about you. I was telling when I was doing her recording, I'm like, oh, like I have Nana coming up. She's like, oh, that's amazing. So, anyways,
Yeah,
um,
I love Zia. She's so, I haven't seen her since Jesus. I mean, it's funny when I guess maybe it was Steamy Lit last year. No, Steamy Lit last year. But it's funny when you have like all these like conferences that like
mhm.
suddenly go away or like aren't as often. Cause like we
Yeah.
haven't had Ram in a while.
Mhm.
Book Bonanza's gone.
Yeah,
And
because those were like our connecting points. And now I
yeah.
feel like all our regular routine is not there anymore, which is actually part of the reason for doing this. It's not just you know, for YouTube views and whatever, because those are kind of like all over the place. There's really
Right.
but it's more like just connecting with the community because I feel like we don't get it enough. I
Yeah, I mean,
last
I
time
mean,
I
I
saw
think
Zio was in
everything
October.
post-COVID is like weird because I used to go on
Yeah.
author retreats all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people still have them, but I just, or maybe I don't know anyone, or maybe I'm just like head down a lot. I mean, it's kind of like I reverted back to old me. That was just like, it's like I feel better best when I'm just like,
In the zone. Yeah. Well, 2025 I feel like was a weird year and it's that's been like a general theme I feel like for every single episode I've had is just how weird 2025 was. And I don't know if it's because of what's going on in the world or if it's because the shifts in the publishing industry. I'm not really sure, but I know that there are some retreats still happening, but they're like Zio did her retreat back in October. If you
mhm,
can do that one, that was actually a really good one. I think she's going to try to do it again this year.
okay.
It was a really good one. And that's when I saw her last. But as far as like the smaller scale, like where people are renting a house and things like that,
Yeah.
I feel like that's sort of everyone, I don't know, everyone just like you said, everyone's like in a zone. It's a safe place.
Yeah,
That's
everyone's
really
trying to
not
stay in
safe.
their safe place and be like, look, I'm gonna sit here and write some books. And
Yep,
then
yep, yep.
hopefully do some good stuff and then peek our heads out and we're like, oh, it's still on fire. Cool. Back to the usual. I mean, like in some ways it's good because like at the end of the year, like I kind of reverted to my old self again and just was like knocking out books. The problem is I now have to edit every single one of those books and
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
I just it's one thing to draft them when you're like, I can like like soak into fairy tale land. It's
Mhm.
one thing because I mean I dictate to write, so I'm just like wherever I am and like I'm like, oh, I'm working on this or like this is the fun project. But then it's like to like read your own words back. It's like the seventh circle of hell, and you're like, not the edits.
Yeah, not the edits. I wish I could dictate, but actually, like you said, the edits have got to be like insane. We
Yeah.
talked about that actually at RAM. That was something I was supposed to like look into is dictating, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to try because I got to do something to write faster, but I don't know.
I'm gonna bust a bubble, girl. It's not any faster. And there's a reason for that. Well, for some people it can be. So it's storytelling speed. Um, so like however quickly your thoughts come is it's the same.
Mhm.
So when I used to like speed draft and I would like, I mean, it wasn't accurate. So the cleanup was truly horrible.
Yeah.
Like the dictation, I hand it to this woman in the Philippines and she just like listens and like types everything. So it's great. But the storytelling speed I found is kind of the same at when I'm like top speed typing as to when I'm talking because I'm talking as fast as the thoughts come. And so for like if you were just like I know like some people who are just like they're I think they're like deliberative in terms of like strengths.
Mhm.
And so like they're like, oh, do I like that word? Do I like how I put that sentence together? And I don't care about that because I'm number one achiever. I just
Hey, see,
want the
I'm number
story
one
out.
achiever. Yes, I'm number
Yeah.
one achiever. And I don't know where deliberative falls in my Clifton strengths. I'm not really sure. But when I write a chapter, I actually do what you're just talking about as far as like, when I'm writing a chapter, it's almost done. I might have to edit a couple of things, like, cause there's a
Uh,
typo, but it's literally like done. I rarely, unless I'm making
okay.
a big plot change later on, I rarely
Yeah.
have to go back and revisit that chapter. It is done.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. No, I mean, for me, my brain thinks I'm done, but am I actually done? The answer is no.
Yeah.
Um, and so for me, I have to go like once the story's out, it's kind of like it's like when it's on, like when I'm on, it's like fever pitched, like I'm like telling everyone about the story. I'm like, oh my God, okay, so British billionaire shifters, you guys, like I can't help myself and I'm in it and I've got to just like get it out. It feels like a compulsion,
Yeah.
feels very compulsive. It's like out, out, out. Um, and and while that's good, like the story's there. Like I know the story. I can feel it. It's like I'm even if I can't like make it like intertwine how I want, I can feel it. And I'm just like, yes. The problem is the moment it's out, my brain's like, oh my God, thank God. Thank God. And then it's like, well, no, we have to go read it and make sure it's okay. My brain's like, no, 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 we're done. We're done. And I know that I'm like, no, I'm not done because I also discover more
Mhm.
and then it's messy. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, because I dictate. So, and I'm not looking at a computer when I dictate. So I'm walking around, I forget names, eye colors, the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's a hodgepodge. Sometimes my editor is like, who the fuck is Aaron? And I'm like, I don't know. Who the fuck is Aaron?
See, and that would be me because I'd be so busy like trying to get the dictation right that sorry, I mean they're gonna be annoying, I feel like today. So there's three of them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I had one like
Here's
that.
one. Here's one. Says Maisie.
Cinnamon used to be like, "Oh, you are not. You're trying to do anything. No, I need to sit right here."
Well, they were sleeping, but then the minute I start talking, suddenly,
They're like, "Oh,
now they're
mommy's
awake. They're like,
home.
oh, she's talking. Well, we're supposed to be doing something. No,
Yeah,
no,
let's
stay
go
sleeping.
hang."
Stay sleeping.
Yeah, no. So my brain is like, "No, we're done." And then it's like the muse that was there with me is like fucked off to Bora Bora,
Mhm.
and I am stuck with the remnants of I mean, it's the story's still great,
Mhm.
but it's like sometimes it's like if the outline was maybe a little bit off. And it's always like I always know the like beginning, like right before the hook, up into the hook, I'm like, yeah.
Mhm.
And then I always know black moment till the end. I'm like, yeah. It's always the middle that like usually it's like, yeah, 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 okay, okay. And then it's like light tweaks. But sometimes, especially when it's like a trilogy or a heavy suspense thing, sometimes that middle can go, whoops.
Yeah. See,
And
I'm a trying to stick to trilogies or duets now because I did a it was 5 books, same couple. That was like long.
5 books, same couple. Oh,
Yeah, it was only supposed to be three, and then
girl.
readers wanted more, and it was actually Sky who was like, "So why don't you give them more?" I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, so then I started thinking about it, and then yeah, I managed to do it. And my sell through to book five is crazy. It's like 86% or something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I was like, okay,
Yes.
this was the right call.
Yes.
Yeah,
If
but
it's
I'll
the right
never do that
call,
again.
but like
Never again.
level of exhaustion, because then
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Yeah,
like if you
no,
like,
now I'm like, even doing the trilogies, I feel like I can't just write one book because I write long, but I feel like duets are going to be my sweet spot, like moving forward.
yeah, I mean, listen, I love a duet, but I'm gonna sky you and be like,
Yeah.
Get
You're
that
like, so
money.
why can't you make the third? Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna say get that money,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like
Hmm.
that's really it's like
Yeah.
yes, you will 100% make money.
Yeah.
And like when I look at my do oh, have you seen Book Report now has like the read through? It is like the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my
I
life.
saw that on somebody else's dashboard, but I don't have Book Report anymore because so what happened was it was 19.95 a month or whatever. And then I was like, oh, I'm not really using it because I'm
Yeah,
not a KU author and like
yeah,
not all my platforms are in
same.
there. I'm like, my Excel spreadsheets are better. So I canceled it. Well, that was a mistake because now when you try to go back in, it's based on your income and you get tiered up. And I was gonna pay like $100 a month or something. I'm like, I'm not spending $100 a month on this. Because
I'm
basically they pull all
grandfathered.
your reports.
Then that's why they're trying to like be like, well, you're grandfathered, but I think I have like 3 weeks left, and they're like, but we're gonna switch you over, and I'm like, I know you're not talking to me, and
Oh,
because I've had it forever,
yeah,
like, and I had that, and I have Scribe, like I have them all because I
yeah,
like data,
yeah,
because number nine
yeah.
analytical, and so I'm always like, oh, but how do I look at it this way? But like they messed up and gave me my read through, so I'm like, I don't mind, like if this is like I just paid for the month, right? So I'm just like, thank you very much for this read through data. This explains a lot of things. Like I made a mistake in like the London Lords. It's like
Hmm.
11 books or something like that.
Hmm.
And it's three trilogies, a standalone and a prequel. And I've had that series up for so long that like it was before they did related books on Amazon. So like I was like, okay, well, I'll just put them in order of when they released because I'm not smart. And so trilogy one is fine. Trilogy two, there's like a minor dip, but it's okay. And then everyone like goes to the next book because they're assuming it's the next guy. Because I did a Veronica Mars with like one overarching plot thread, and then like each trilogy is a contained story, but like there's one they're all trying to secret society, who killed our friend, whatever. And so everyone thinks they're getting Bridges books, but instead I give them this random standalone. Girl, the cliff that they all fell off of.
It was
And I
right
couldn't
there.
understand why no one was, I was like, do they not? I was like, when I released it, they liked it. Like, I mean, the way
Yeah,
that I've been trying to figure it out. And I was like, oh no. So
you didn't
took
connect them right.
those,
Yeah.
I just took those right out of, I mean, because some stuff happens in the standalone that influences. So I was like,
You
ah,
can make them now like related books on
yes.
Amazon, and
And
I
so
like
I
that.
pulled them
Yeah.
out,
Hmm.
made them related, and like almost overnight, I was like, oh, would you
There it
look at
is.
the
There
sales
it
of
is.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. And like a standalone rom-com from literally 15 years ago. Please, no, you guys, I'm 29. Don't do the math.
Forever, forever. That's what I
Forever.
say. 29
If
forever.
if the face is holding, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
But like back then, it was like my first book too. First time I'd done a series first, and everyone. I mean, the first one hit USAT, and I was like, "This is great." But then, of course, I'd never done a sophomore book, so I just couldn't. And the early reviews back then were like, "This feels like a completely different author." Um, and that book on its own is fine. It just you can tell that like I already was in my head and like trying to be like, oh, well,
Yeah.
maybe I should do it like this or do it like that.
Yeah.
And so you can see the cliff like that everyone falls on. Girl, I took that out. I moved it to book four. I put book four at book two and left book three where it was. Already, I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
So things you learn with data, but the fact that I was like, thank you, Book Report, for showing me this. Everything else looks normal, and now I'm canceling. Thank you so much.
So you're gonna if you decide to go back in, it's gonna be expensive. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll pay a one-time thing for like it's like me buying a data report.
mhm.
I'll do that once,
Yeah.
so I can see it and be like, oh, from the time I made the change, like I'll do it next year. This time I'll go in and be like, okay, last year, what did read through look like? It'll be a great thing to do at the end of the year. Like
So
if it's
just
a
sign
hundred
up
bucks,
for a month. That's an idea. I might just do
yeah,
that. Yeah,
and then
because
just
there is the
snapshot
data
your
there.
data and be
Yeah.
out,
Yeah,
and
that's a
be
good
like,
idea.
as Book Report now was like, hey,
Yeah.
oh, then make it like the regular price. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I have done it with like, when we've done like Sky's ad class, like you run the numbers and you do the
Yeah.
data.
There's the other one.
But most of us are looking at it from like the vantage point of also having free books and all this stuff. And I was like, the math is done for you because they take, I mean, my international books, most of them are KU. So I wanted to see the KU data, but then you can take out free. And I'm because like free is so skewed, and also BookBub has a varying level of success these days. And so I was like, take out free data. Anyone who bought the book, what is, and I was like, oh, so, but that like gave me, I was like, so maybe no more free for a bit.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of people swear by the first and free and I've
For
never
me,
done it.
not anymore.
I've never done first and free because that's a big chunk of like oh, we're gonna get in the weeds here. So, but like when you're spending like all this money on ads, like you need that income from book one and some of most of book two actually, so that like now the rest of it is your gravy, right? Like
Well,
so if
the
the
thing
first is
is,
free, now you gotta work, you gotta sell more to start making
yeah,
money.
I
Yeah.
mean, well, you hope. Here's the thing. The way first and free only works if you have, and I've always said this to people who are like, I'm going to do a book club. And I'm like, how many books do you have? And they're like, two. I'm like, stop it.
Stop.
I'm like, give me at least like, if you're doing first and free, you better have a trilogy with another series right behind it that's very similar. Then it makes sense because your read through and your jump from one series to the next will be good.
Mhm.
But like I'm always like, don't do it. But like if you have a long tail, and obviously I have so many books, so like I would like it's
Yeah.
like a rising tide.
Yeah.
And so I swore by first free, especially on other vendors, because other vendors did what they were supposed to do. But like really like right around like shortly after the pandemic when like there was like things like Zobub and like all the massive group ones with like all the free,
Mhm.
Amazon especially, I would get a lot of downloads, but then people just hoard the book and they
Yeah.
never read it.
That's what actually I found with like the Zobubs. I mean, it's not that the Zobubs like it's not that they're not good. Like they were great, especially to get some eyeballs on
Yeah, no.
like a series that's not selling well or things like that. But
Yeah,
for me, it was I think because I don't have free books because I don't have a first and series free. When I
yeah,
do, I literally rocket to number one in the Kindle store, like
yeah,
in free books, because I never offer them. So that's part of
exactly.
like a business strategy too. So
Yep.
when I decide to do like a Zoe Bub or if I get a book bub, which I honestly, I'm not impressed with book bub anymore. I haven't really made
Oh,
anything
they're
paying for them for the amount
I
of
mean,
money they
listen, they've
cost.
treated me well over the
Yeah.
years, but right now, and I like, I kind of want to just reach out to them and be like, guys, you guys have been very good to me. Like, for years, I would have a book bub every month, and I'm like, this is great. But there were some series I never book bubbed, or like ones I would be like, this is your only time you're ever going to see this free,
Yeah.
and then like archive it, and it's never going free again. Especially for the newer, longer series. But
Mhm.
I just want to reach out to them and be like, hey guys, you know what would be cool? Book Bub is if you took all the romance books and you hired yourself a little social media intern
Mhm.
and their only job
Mhm.
was to make content
That,
for
yeah.
the books that you said yes to
Yeah.
in a
That,
specific
yeah.
category.
Yeah,
I
because well, even when they will change like the tagline or the it's to put in their newsletter, and I get the newsletter, I'm like, what are they saying? Like this is not like I'm like what like it's not even correct like for the book because they change it like they're not using like the metadata that's like on Amazon or all the other book retailers. They just make up
think
their own
that
thing.
I I can't I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but I'm not sure that those well these days that they're human written. Like before they used to be, because remember before they used to read the book and then be like yay or nay.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and then like, because I would argue with them, I'm like, get me out of this category. And they're like, actually, one, you perform really well in that category. B, we know what these readers in this category are actually looking for.
Mhm.
And they were never wrong.
Yeah.
But like these days, I don't know if they're reading the books as much. I don't know if they're writing all of those. I think that there's a lot of AI built into like a lot of tools that we use anyway right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that they're like using AI, but I'm just saying that like
Something looks off. Yeah. I feel like
it
you
just
can
looks
tell
off.
though. Like, I don't know, as writers, I feel like I can spot AI writing a mile away. Like, it's like,
You,
I mean, I mean,
I would say so, but then the fact that AI has gotten so good.
no, I mean, I don't know about like, I can't say like books, like as far as books, but like when I read a blurb, I
Yeah.
feel like I can tell if a book blurb was spit out by ChatGPT, like, between like the bold fonts in certain places. And I'm like, come on, man. I was
But
like, dude,
also,
don't be so
here's the
sloppy. If you're going
deal.
to use it, like, fix
Here's
it.
the deal. Because I was in tech for so long, I'm like, I keep looking at people like, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not meant to replace your brain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
use the tool and then use the brain
Yeah.
to modify.
Yeah.
Guys, like I'm always forever looking around like, especially when you see authors who, like people are like who like I don't know these people, so it's like, well, someone says that they use AI, and then I'm like, did you think that you would just toss in like some chat GPT written thing and then not edit it or read
Yeah.
it or
The people that are leaving the prompts in the books too.
that's what I
What
mean.
are you
That's what I'm
doing?
talking about. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
because
Well,
I
I
mean,
did
look,
have, okay, wait, I had a feeling this was going to happen with us. There's like a few authors that I'm like, okay, when we talk, we're just going to go
I
off.
know, God,
I
we're just
do
like,
have an agenda, believe it or
okay, sorry,
not.
sorry, sorry.
No, no,
Go with
it's
your
totally
agenda.
fine. No, no, this is totally fine. But I'm like, we can go down the AI rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
we would
And
just,
yeah, and I'm like, okay, this is going to get like long if we start doing this.
we're just gonna go
So
forever. Yeah,
okay, well, normally is how I start. I do like an icebreaker, which clearly we did not
we did
need.
not need.
No, not at all. But no, I do the icebreaker to, kind of like, loosen the conversation a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's super easy. It's like something that you're loving and something that you're hating. So what is
Um,
something that you love right now?
something that I love right now. It can be anything. Well, I'm super obsessed with The Pit at the moment. The HBO, is it HBO? The Pit. I think it is HBO. The medical drama, Noah
Oh
Wiley.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Is it the one with Noah?
Noah Wiley, yeah.
Yes, everyone keeps telling me I have to
It's
watch
oh
that.
my God, it is so good, but it is so tense. My God, like, and apparently my empathy like extent like usually I'm like I'm good at like boundaries, but like watching it, it's so visceral that like my gums ache when either
Oh,
anything embarrassing happens or anything really squeamish. I'm just like,
you're
oh,
like
that had to
clenching your
hurt.
teeth. All right, I'm gonna have to watch it. Maybe I'll try
It's
that
so
tonight.
good. It's so good. It's so
I
good.
have so
So that's
many
what I'm
shows
loving.
I need to watch though.
What I'm hating is I mean the world, but um I will say teen attitude. That is I love the teen, and she's so beautiful and smart and actually really funny. Don't tell her I said that because it'll go to her head. But ooh, some days she wakes up and I'm like,
See, I got really lucky with my daughter, and I think it's because my son, like he's good. Don't get me wrong, he was very good, never gave me any trouble, but he was mouthy, man. Oh, he had an
oh
answer for everything. And my daughter, she would watch him get in trouble, and she's like, I don't want to
yeah,
do that. So she would just be silent. But
uh,
that would actually make me more angry because then I'm like, don't you have a thought? Like I'm like allowed Italian, and I gotta scream and yell, and she just sits there and she's just like this, and I'm like, like say some words, but she was never mouthy. She would just sit there and not say anything. So
that's
annoying,
that's
so annoying. So
my
be careful what you wish for.
no, that's what I deal with because she just I'm like morning, morning, like, and I'm like,
Oh
how is
no, I
it?
didn't
How
have
was
that. I meant like if she was like angry or we were arguing or something, she would
oh
never like
yeah.
mouth back or
No, no, I'm too African for that. Like, no,
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
no.
no,
She,
I don't know, maybe I'm too Italian for that or something. I don't know. I just never
yeah,
tolerated any sort of
yeah. It
mouthing
just,
off. Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, like I just have to give a look. If
Mhm.
like the most she'll do is maybe there's like a mild eye roll. I'm like, what was that? And then she's like, nothing, mommy. And then she just like vanishes quick. But it's just the silent moodiness. You know what I mean? It's just you look pissed off.
Yeah.
What you just woke up. You went to bed, you were cool. What happened?
Yeah.
And then she's like, nothing, I'm just tired. And then by the time she leaves, like her dad takes her in the morning. By the time she leaves, she's like, love you the most, I win. And I'm like,
You're like, what? You're like your head's spinning, like you can't keep
see,
up. Yeah.
the whiplash is like,
That's crazy.
so
Teenagers
that's
are
what I
nuts.
don't love that right now because I have to be a mind reader. But yeah, no. So those are some things that I mean, we couldn't make it book related to. I'm in love with my new trilogy. I'm afraid of it. So I'm doing like Arthurian retellings right now. So I'm like in the middle of like my Merlin. Well, I'm at the beginning of my Merlin retelling. And you know that when you start a new book, it's always like, do I know how to do my job?
Yeah, that's the hardest part is setting it up. I feel like that's where I spent the most time is like the setup.
It's
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, I have a good outline. The outline is great.
Mhm.
It's like, I think maybe I have no idea. But it's like I'm building a boat from scratch every time, which is shocking because I have 158 boats, and so it's like
Wow, I
I'm
knew you
like
had a big catalog. I didn't know it was that big. That's
it's
nuts.
yeah, it's about to get bigger because I think this last year I said to myself, I was like, I have a lot of things I want to like dabble in and play with and experiment with, and that don't wouldn't fall under the Nana umbrella because I've been very honed in specifically to what I've been writing and what I've been trying to do,
Mhm.
which I love, and I'm not stopping that. But I mean, and I do have sports romances. And last year at the end of the year, I wrote like two additional ones, like kind of like fun, fluffy hockey ones that would fit into that. But I'm like, when am I going to release these? Like I
That's
have like
actually
all this,
something that was one of the actually the discussion topics was your catalog. Like you have a huge catalog
yeah, yeah,
and you don't really stay in a lane. So like our billionaire readers cross, but you also have
yeah,
like your rock stars and hockey and the dark
yeah.
outlaw.
I have. I mean, it's all contempt.
Yeah.
Like I haven't gone into the world, and it's all like,
Yeah, you're not super dark. You're kind of like me. Like I feel like I
yeah,
have some dark themes, but like
yeah. I
but
mean, I
I was
think,
dark like 5 years ago. I say this all the time that I'm dark-ish because
yeah, I think.
dark is
Listen,
so subjective now. And
yeah,
people
I
are
think
really pushing the
that
envelope. Yeah.
those of us who've been around for a while since the Paleolithic era of romance, what we were calling dark when dark romance became even like a hint of a thing. Sierra Simone says it best. She's like, "Oh, it's diet dark. It's not. It's like
Diet
dark
dark. I love
adjacent,
it.
and it's going to feel moody
Mhm.
and broody and like have like a dark patina. Like you're gonna read it and be like, oh, the lights are like it's like
Mhm.
a movie where it's like they turn the lights down.
Yeah.
Um, and for most of my suspense, I actually write with like a very, I don't know if you ever saw the show Riviera.
No.
Um, it had what's her name? Julia Stiles in it,
Mhm.
but it was like super mafia, but like the patina was like very French Riviera bright. And that's the
Wow.
patina I used to write. I was like, no, I want rich, I want glitzy, I want dripping, but I want it to feel sparkly.
Yeah.
And so I always laugh and say I write Pierce Brosnan Bond, where it's like snarky and funny, but look, the world's gonna blow up if we don't say do the thing.
I've
But then
not
I
been
started
able
doing
to.
my billionaires, which went a little like I made the tone like I turned the dial on the
Yeah.
tone,
Yeah.
and so that's really been like the world, like that's been the King Arthur world
Yeah.
with takeover and stuff. But
How
I have everything in contemporary.
How are you getting your readers to cross? So like I've not successfully moved outside of my billionaires. I've tried and I get those books sell, but they're just like organic sell through. The only ones that I can successfully advertise, the ones that like are just my bill that's all my readers want from me. I can't every time I try to move out of my lane, they're like, no, 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 no. And they show me in my sales dashboard, like just goes right, just like this. Like they just want the
Do you
billionaires.
know what? What I will say is because you and I, we like on another conversation, let's talk ads because you're successfully selling your billionaires.
Mhm.
And I, I've struggled with ads on those because like they sell well when I release, right? And so then it's like everyone goes back to the beginning because they're an interconnected world and whatever. But like the ads for that, I struggle on. But what I will say is that books I have called donkey series, like my sports series, released in 2017. It was the first series I was like, I'm doing everything. I'm getting the narrators. I got not Sebastian York.
Mhm.
I got like I was like every book is releasing with the audio right away. All of the things I did everything right, and that book that series tanked so hard,
Yeah, that happened to
and
me.
I
Actually,
was
same
like,
year. It was the same year. I used Zach Weber, who cost me a fortune. And like
fortune.
Oh my God, literally a fortune. And it was 2017, no, 18 and 19. I did the same thing, simultaneous audio release. And
Uh-huh.
I spent all this money and it just flopped. Like, what is
Right?
happening?
And I have forever side-eyed that series. Like I've just been like, and I
And I
couldn't
loved
make
those series, actually. That book that I did, that I was saying that flopped. So that I was supposed to be writing other things. And then I got like, not to get like all political, but Trump 1.0 and the immigrants and all that stuff was making me very angry. And I had this
yeah,
story in my head that I needed to make. Now, it's 1,000 times worse, but it was bad even back then.
yeah,
And I remember reading Dylan Allen's Thicker Than Water.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh my God, she talked about immigration. She can do, like, you can do this. And like,
yeah.
you can do it in romance. So I was like, okay. So I did it very lightly in book 2 in that series, but it was supposed to be one book, but then it got too long.
Yeah.
So I split it into two and made it a duet, and it
Mhm.
did not sell at all. And I was like, I was so upset. I was devastated because this book was like my whole heart, everything. And
Uh-huh.
nothing. Now it sells, but it's only because of organic sell through from my billionaires. That's it.
That's
Like,
so funny because so like that series, I couldn't make it move. Even though there are hockey books in that series, I had advertised those hockey books, but I think I was advertising incorrectly. What I will say is that that series got a resurgence in the last 3 years. Well, actually, even two. So 2025, so 2024. I got lucky. So I'd been working on my direct store. And so bundle everything up like everyone's doing. And then I made an ad and it was not to book one, which I know it was a tennis romance. Listen, I know, I know. Anyway, and because I've already had a tennis romance game set match, it did, over the years it's done fantastically, like, but it was like a trad book. It was my first book. They didn't know how to advertise. It was a mess. But over the years, that book has done great. But like with this series, I was like, okay, so I advertised the hockey series, but then I sent them to the bundle and come and see that series. I made so much money on that sports series, and I was like,
wow. But
the
sports really
donkey.
took off in 24. Like it started was it 24 is when it started? And it
I
was,
mean, the thing is, hockey's been here. Hockey's
yeah,
been here,
yeah.
like never really gone away, and
No,
then come
TikTok.
back 23,
TikTok made it.
24,
Yeah.
25. TikTok. But even when TikTok made it a thing, and people remember when we got in trouble as romance, and people
Yeah.
were like we were like, oh my God, we're like objectifying hockey players. And I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah. It was a whole big thing. The fact that there was
I
like
mean, listen,
statements from like NFL players was
I'm like, don't
bananas.
objectify people,
Or
but
NHL.
also hockey players
Yeah.
hockey
Yeah.
players who are objectively possibly like the worst of
They
the
really,
worst of the
yes.
worst.
Yeah, they kind of are.
Don't objectify people, but let's. But anyway, I was like, let's like don't objectify people because it was a little crazy, but I was like also like I
I was
feel
like,
like I
come
was like
on, really? Like,
I
I
was
feel
like
like it's like,
guys.
okay, they can, yeah. I get what you're saying. The
I
double
was like, it
standard
blew
is,
up in a
yeah,
way that I was like,
yeah.
it didn't need to blow up like this. I was like, this is
No,
not the.
it
I was
didn't.
like, the world is on fire, guys, and this is what we. Come
When
on,
the
but it,
NHL is like making statements I don't know if the NHL,
but the
the actual
NHL was also
organization did it.
reposting. And
Yeah,
that's why I was like, no.
yeah.
See, you can't tell me that you're reposting and be like, you're keying with us. Then suddenly you're like, oh no, it's terrible.
Oh no, my wife is upset about it, so I have
Yeah.
to
And
take a
I was
different
like,
stance. Yeah.
I was like, okay. But anyway, that I was like, so maybe some of these series that I have said haven't performed well, or like or donkey series or whatever the case is, or stopped selling, there's a way to revive these. And I had to really take a look back and like be like, okay, what advertising me knows about advertising, and advertising to the store looks different. And that really changed everything because a lot of what I would try on Amazon would just go into, as you know, a black hole.
Mhm.
And you like the more money you spent, sure, you saw more sales, and sure, if you were lucky, you made more than you spent.
Mhm.
But I was like, when I advertised on my store, I could see it. And I'm like, I'm not just making more than I spent. I'm literally making 2, 3 times what I spent.
Yeah.
This is the key. But then, sometimes, Meta is an asshole. So like then the
Yep.
ads die and then you
That's the one
scramble and
thing.
then you come
That's
back.
my issue with the direct sales. They do
Yeah.
great when I start them, and then they fall off after like 2 weeks. And I'm like,
Yeah. I think
I can't get
now,
them to last more than 2 weeks. And I'm good with ads, and I don't know what it is with me in direct sales.
yeah, no, it's all, we're all feeling it. I mean, obviously they made a big change like a couple months ago. And we're all feeling it because I had ads that were killing. I mean, I was like, the way that my direct store was like 3 times my Amazon, and I was like,
Do you want to know what ads are working for me now? Because I
what?
saw the same change. They're the ads that were running 3 years ago. I
Oh yeah,
resurrected them because they have a shit ton of social proof on them. And those are the ones that are hitting. Anything new, I can't get it to take off. And I'm tracking
even
it with Amazon attribution links, all the things. But my old ads, the covers are outdated and everything. It doesn't matter.
they
It
don't
doesn't
care.
matter. I think, and I swear to God, it's the social proof that's selling them.
It's a social proof, but also it's how we'll get into the weeds about this, but it's
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
Meta is pushing them.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you can do, I'll tell you this right now, that does actually work, and I got this trick from Melissa Storm. The ones that your store ones, especially, because that's the one where, especially if it's like something, special editions are great. Man, I had a special edition that was like killing it too for like a year,
Yeah.
and then it died. But that's all right because I'm gonna get it back at some point. But turn them off. It doesn't hurt anything. Turn them off and then turn them back on. Like give it a month,
The store
and
ads? Oh
like
yeah, I
it's
do the same thing with my store
like,
ads and they pick
yeah,
back up and then I have
intermittently
to
do
turn them
that,
off.
and then like they just get triggered, and then like afterwards I'll send you some stuff that like really helped. It's like stuff you put in the description box.
Yeah.
And because of Meta's change, like just I'll give you some like a
Are you
rundown of
doing all
some
the
quick.
tropes and stuff in the description box?
Yeah, but it's like I write the copy like it's advertising copy. Like I would write an ad,
Yeah.
but it's got the tropes, it's got my like authors, it's got
Yeah.
like, and it's like a paragraph.
Yeah.
And then instead of like the headline being because what I used to do for my store is like I would advertise the discount on the bundle,
Hmm.
which sometimes is a discount
Hmm.
and sometimes is an artificial discount, but
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
And like all, but like I still make it cheaper than if you bought every book by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, buy the bundle, guys, because you're meant to read the series.
Yeah.
For me, that's all profit. And
Yeah.
like once
Yeah.
you come in, I was like, I don't, it's not like a special edition where it's like, okay, I have to take, what's the profit margin on it and
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, so I just write the copy like that, and then in that headline, instead of just advertising that thing, I usually will like use like the most like salacious like yes daddy or whatever in the headline. That like has helped so many of the ads, and I'm like, okay, okay, okay. But then also what I love is the Amazon spillover. Those are direct store ads. If like at the bottom of the ad, I usually do the thing where I'm like, hey, you can buy direct from me, or like, the
Yeah.
link to the series on Amazon.
Yeah.
That spillover, I was like, oh, so you guys do know how to work. Because let me do a traffic ad with the same ad. That ad will not, those books will not move.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. But like, I
It's
mean, the
nuts.
backlist is crazy. There's all kinds of stuff in there. There's new adult, which I'm coming back to under a pen name. There was like in the
You're
early days,
doing
I
you're
attempted,
juggling another pen name too with the new adults?
oh, a couple.
A couple. Okay. I don't know what your
Um,
other pen names are, so I only know you as Nana. Like I
yeah,
actually
you
got
only know,
when
no.
I first heard of you, it was because of the brown nipple challenge. When all of a sudden you
Oh,
showed up
yes.
in my Instagram feed, I'm like, who is this lady? She's so funny. And like so I was talking to like Lacey Laurel. She's like, oh, that's Nana. And I'm like, because I talk to her like every week on the phone. We're always on the phone.
Oh, Lacey. I
And
love Lacey.
yeah, so that's how I don't know if anybody like for anybody who's listening, like they're probably like, what's the brown nipple challenge? Tell them real quick what the brown nipple challenge is.
Okay, so Radical Challenge. So 2021, the world, 2020, 2021, the world's not on fire. And I wanted to do something sustainable that, I could actually like, I mean, because everyone was protesting and out in the streets, and I was like, my kid's little, I don't feel comfortable like
Mhm.
just out and about
Yeah.
with her. but I also, I was like, but what happens after the protest, right? So I wanted to do something that was sustainable. And apparently people's Googles were broken. I don't know if you remember that time. Even now their Google is broken. I'm like, your Google doesn't work? That's crazy. And people were like, but where do I find books written by authors of color? Because I was like, decolonize your bookshelves. Like, don't look at
Yeah.
me being like, oh, but where do I find? And I'm like, y'all can't go to Google. So I created essentially it was like a book club. I was like, where I recommended not just like, oh, I recommend this book, but like I read the book and it was written by an author of color, and obviously it was romance, and but it was a book that was similar to me in voice, so
Mhm.
that I could say to my readers, I'm like, if you love what I do, here is someone else to go and read.
Mhm.
And then I would have the author onto my platform. So we share platforms, but also I get to introduce my readers to them. And then if they're cool or funny, which doesn't always work out how you think it's going to work out, as you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And because I mean, authors sometimes were awkward.
Yeah, I've had a
And
few where I'm like the conversation
you're
it's
pulling
like, come
out.
on,
And then we would have a conversation. And in that way, when people feel like they know you, they're more likely to make a buying decision.
Mhm.
And then that morphed because, and then like lots of people wanted to join in, lots of authors. And like, they were like, oh, can I read this book? And I was like, no, 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 it has to be your genre. What do you write? Like, I
Yeah.
remember Adriana Locke, she really loved Kennedy's, I think it was Long Shot.
I
And I
love
was
that
like,
series. Yeah.
I love that series, but I was like, Adriana, you write small town.
Yeah.
Like, so pick a small town romance author
Yeah.
that you like. I can recommend a couple. And I mean, the thing is, she knew, she goes, oh, I get it. And so then she like could recommend a small town romance author that would kind of sound like her voice. And then she's like,
Yeah.
if you love me, also read this person. And
Yeah.
that's an easy jump. And then like I was like, and then have a conversation
Okay.
with that person.
Yeah.
And then that makes it like
Mhm.
you want to make things as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Like, cause like in my rom-com era, like me being like, oh my God, read this dark romance, like that
Yeah.
wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah.
And so one of the books that I referred in the early days, Andy Arndt was like, she's like, girl, it doesn't have audio. And I was like, I know. And I was like, first of all, audio is expensive. Please don't look at me.
We're gonna get into the
B,
audio and color. That's on my thing. Like
okay.
that's
So
definitely,
then
yeah, we're
B,
definitely gonna go there. Yeah.
and then I was like, but sometimes publishers don't do an audio, so there's nothing we can do. And then,
I'm a huge audio
we,
listener
and
too.
then that's how audio and color came about. But Brownable Challenge is essentially a book club.
Yeah.
And because people didn't want to go to Google. So
Yeah.
I made it
Well,
for,
and I think that's a great way too for, like white authors like me. Like I won't write um like character like I'll have them as side characters, but I'm not
Mhm.
going to write my main characters people of color because I'm white girl. I'm going to get things wrong. I can have all the sensitivity readers that I want and this and that. I feel like I'm better suited lifting up authors of
Yeah,
color rather than writing them myself. And
yeah,
what you did gave us like a great opportunity to do
yeah.
that through. So are you still doing it or no?
It's really morphed into audio and color now
Yeah.
because audio and color became a whole ass like nonprofit.
Yeah.
I
Well,
always
let's
say,
actually, I'll
Angie.
skip ahead. Let's talk about audio and color now since
Yeah,
since
no.
we're
So
here.
audio color as an offshoot of that. So Andy said, she's like, how can, at the time she owned Lyric Audiobooks that's now been sold to Katie Robinson.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know, share it, I guess. And so she was like, no, no, no. We're gonna do more than that. And we had a really great conversation. And she was like, what do you think the biggest barrier? And I was like, look, these audiobooks are expensive. I know that they're an investment.
Mhm.
So it's like taking money and putting in your 401k because they will earn out eventually,
Mhm.
given time. And they will, and then at that point, they will run you a profit.
Mhm.
And so she's like, what can we do? And she's
But
like,
it's coming up with the money up front
it's
is
coming up with the money up front. And so there was like the angel investor who invested in us or gave us money was like, had wanted to do a project with her. And she was like, no, actually, let's do something with the money you want to give me. And that's how we started audio and color. It was kind of meant to be a one-time thing. And we're like, all right. And my favorite part about that is when we announced that we were doing this, we're like, yeah, we're going to find authors of color who are writing romance who've never self-produced an audiobook. And we had some parameters in there. And then I was like inundated with emails from like author friends and people in the community who like I didn't even know who were like, I still will never forget. Julia Kent was like, I keep trying to throw my credit card at my monitor and I don't, I don't, it's not taking. How do I give you money? And
Yeah.
I will never forget that. And I was like, Julia, we have money. And she's like, but I'm going to give you, do you have more? You can always have more. And
Yeah.
I would like, I had to call Andy, like, right. I was like, Julia Kent's trying to give us money.
Yeah.
And so then we opened a GoFundMe, and then it was like the author community
Because you
was
do
so
the
amazing.
auction. You do the auction every
Well, we do
year.
the auction now, but
Mhm.
this was even before the auction. People just gave us money, like in a GoFundMe,
See, I
and then
never heard of it until the auction because I was
we're
yeah,
like,
somebody
that's
asked to
crazy.
yeah, to
And so yeah, the
donate. So
auction
I've
came the
donated.
next year.
Uh-huh.
We put on our big girl pants, and we're filing for a 501(c), and we're chasing money, and we hired Milk and Cookies as like our publicity and marketing
Let's see.
firm. And
She's my boss
yeah.
of it too. Yeah.
And then Anne was like, what we need is an auction. And I was like, a what? And I was like, this feels like work. And I was like, I didn't sign on for a nonprofit. This feels like work.
But
And
she
then
ran with it, man. Like
I mean, we've been so incredibly fortunate, and we have big things to announce coming soon, and we're like really excited. Like we took this little program that was like literally me being like, I just wanted to do something and make, like, I was like, a book club, I guess. And then like friends came out of the woodwork. Cause I don't know, I'm just one of those people who like, I want to do something. I'm like, I'll do something good. And I just like never think that anyone's going to join me. I'm just like, I'll just do this.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna make it happen. And it never occurs to me to look around at people being like, no, 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 I'm coming to join you. And I turned around, and there were all these people that were like, we're gonna help you. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And so it's turned out to be this great thing. We've done 32 books so far. Um, like, I couldn't be happier. We've had several of our authors nominated for Audis. And these are books that like people would never have known
Never
about.
would
They
have
would
heard of
never
them.
have been nominated or
Mhm.
even made.
Yeah.
We've had people offer trad deals after they've had an audiobook done by us. And like, it's like the sky's the limit. I'm so excited about the future of audio and color and what we've been able to do. We always have our Fall into Romance auction every year now, every fall. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because we will have another one this coming fall. But it's been just a beautiful process, and we had no. I honestly, when I was feeling depressed and like impotent and didn't know what to do with myself or how to make the world better, I just was like, y'all got to read books by people who don't look like you. Like
Yeah.
that was literally it,
Well,
me being
it makes you
frustrated in my house.
understand, like, especially, I don't know. I just, when you look at like the community and who, I feel like it's the same people on the same lists all the time. And what is
It is.
missing? What is missing? And it's like, I don't know. It's something I feel like is glaringly obvious. And I
It
don't
is.
know. Yeah.
Listen, here's the deal, Dakota. It is, if your eyes are open,
Mhm.
it is glaringly obvious.
Mhm.
There are some people whose eyes are open, see that it's glaringly obvious, but also are like, and on the one hand, I understand a little bit, but who are like, I don't know what to do. And so then they do nothing. And then there are the people who deliberately, like, their eyes are open, and then they deliberately close their eyes, and they're like, well, it's not my problem.
Yeah,
And they're
no,
like,
I don't
but
accept
I
that.
still love this book. And I was like, you can love this book. No one's asking you to not love it.
Mhm.
All anyone's asking, like, no one's forcing you to read, like, some, like, being like, oh, you can no longer read this. Read this. Just add another book by
Yeah.
someone who doesn't look like you.
Yeah.
And please make it a book that's not vegetables. Go make it a book that's fun.
Yeah.
Because like, what I mean, I'm like, listen, I love that everyone's doing anti-racism work. I love it. I love it. I love it. However, that's the only view you ever get of people of color. Like, let's
Yeah,
not make
it's
it
so much
vegetables.
more. It's
Like,
more than that. Yeah.
it can be like, go get some like vitamin rich cake. Like,
Yeah.
someone who has brown nipples, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
another
for
thing
me,
too is like Zio was telling me, and this is actually the first I heard this. So because I don't, obviously I'm not a person of color, but she said like publishers, what they're looking for, like when they want to, if they're going to pick up an author of color, they want you to have like these trauma stories. And she's like, no, can't we just write like, and I'm like, that is nuts. Like what? Like, so even like the expectations that are put
yeah,
on you are completely different, like the
yeah,
content expectations. And
yeah.
why can't you write the same like right to market. Like, well, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
that's where the money is. You want to make money,
yeah.
then right to market. Why do you have,
I
why are you
mean, and I've
expected
been
to do,
around
yeah.
so long that like I remember when publishers first were like, I like your writing style. Like you have a really great, like fresh voice. But like, and they would tell me that no one wanted to read about Black women. And they're like, if you make all these characters white, we can talk about something. And I just remember looking, and it was like a pitch session at like an RWA something something. And I was like,
Ugh, those were the worst though.
and I'm like, no. And I very just I still remember that agent that told me that. And I'm just like, okay. But no. And now it's like, and they're like, yeah, no, we'll take you. But they're like, you have to be doing it like this. And then like, and but then they also want like a trauma story, but they also want like a very specific story. And they're like, well, because I mean, I had Gold Coast Dilemma with my tribe publisher last year, and I put my whole ankle in that book, and like I was like, I twisted myself around into like pretzels to write that book, which I loved. And it was like a story of like me growing up. And like, I still remember like people, like when we were out on auction with it, people were like, so the heroine's rich, but she's African. And they were like, you know what would really work? If they were like Black, like just like not African. And I'm like,
What does that even mean? Like,
well, because they wanted like,
I mean, I
and I
know, but the
get it.
fact
Like
that
I
that was
get it.
like,
They want like
I
a
mean, I
Black
know what there's,
American story. And
yeah,
I'm like, but that's not A, that's not the story I'm telling, but B, that's also not my story. So like that's like you saying like I'm not, you're like, I could, but I would get things wrong. It's like a culture that is not my own. Like, and I've done it. I've written lots of heroines that like are culture not, besides white, that are culture not my own. But like the care that you have to do that, and I'm like, and then fans will be like, oh, I just want to see Black love, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, I did those for Harlequin. You didn't buy them,
yeah, you didn't
and then
buy them.
also the reviews were like, I still remember some of those reviews. Is this author even Black?
Wow.
because I call Black love for the people, by the people, about the people,
Hmm.
right? And so I can do for the people and about the people, but visually I look like by the people, but culturally I'm African. I'm Ghanaian specifically.
Okay.
So like I'm like my husband's Black American, but like I'm like, you guys,
Yeah,
what you think you're going to get is not what you're going to get.
yeah.
And so like there are all these like nuanced arguments and nuanced things, but like now like publishers, they'll look at it and they're like, oh, she's, I just like literally people will be like, oh, why isn't this book like being made into a movie? And literally the feedback was like, well, in this market, like I mean, like she's too rich. That's the feedback. And I'm like, so you only want one kind? And I was like, there's so many different kinds of like stories in the diaspora, like, but you only want one okay. And so like, and then like for me, every time I sit down to write, like I'm like, okay, so obviously she's Black and she's like a serious Afro. And then I have to stop myself and go, wait, how many of the last heroines have been Black? And then I'm like, it's five. And then I'm like, okay, I should
Wow.
probably mix that up.
Yeah.
No one else that are like my contemporaries or my friends have to have that conversation. But every single Black author that I know is like, we sort of play like with like a bag of like colored M&Ms, and we're like, we keep pulling out the brown ones. No, do I have white characters? Yes. And some of my Black readers are like, I'm gonna skip that one. And I'm like, you fair, but it's the same author and it's the same voice and it's the same stuff. But I get it. They want to see themselves on the page. Like out of the 155, I would say 85% of my books feature a woman of color, of some
Yeah.
kind of brown. They're
Yeah.
not all Black, but like
Yeah.
some kind of brown.
Yeah.
And then the other 15, it's like I was like, listen, like I'm gonna write my best friend from college, and I'm gonna, I'm like, I got white people
So
in my life too.
I read an interview that you did a few years ago with Kobo, and you touched
Mhm.
on, because you modeled for your own covers. And you talked
Yes.
about, I know, which I think is like so epic and, you know, iconic, but you also focus on the importance of putting like Black heroines on the cover.
Yeah.
And you discussed like the necessary changes needed
Yeah.
in the cover model and photography industry. Do you think so? It's not just writing now. Now we're also talking about book covers. So
Yeah.
do you think that since you did that interview that things have changed for the
No, not at all.
not at all?
No, no, no.
Yeah, I
Because what's
actually think
happened
they've
now,
gotten.
every just one
I
just went to
My
illustrated
observation
covers.
was they've actually gotten worse, but
Oh yeah.
I was
Yeah.
curious to
Everyone
hear
just
your perspective.
because all the publishing industry did was go to illustrated covers. And then that way they can fake the brown and they don't actually people don't actually have to look at brown skin. Like they don't have to look at it.
I don't get the illustrated
And
covers. I can't.
and I
I
hate
can't get on.
them.
I
I
can't get on
hate
board with
them.
it. I've tried, and I'm like, I just because I
I
design
mean
my own covers, and I've tried like drawing
I
things, and I'm
have
like,
some,
I can't do it.
like Najla did the special editions for Deep Pockets, High Stakes, and Private Zeal, like my latest trilogy. And they're stunning. They're illustrated, but I mean, I had to go and find stock photos and was like, this,
Yeah, yeah.
but illustrated. I don't like them, but like those ones, I mean, are beautiful, but I can't do that myself. I can't, like I'm not like, and I'm not a cover, I'm not a Photoshop like expert type. Like I can do a little
I
things.
went to
I
school
can.
for it, so I actually my
Oh, see, you're
original.
one of those people. Stop it.
Yeah, I
See,
originally started college for graphic design. I didn't
no,
finish because I
Dakota,
got
you're
married
about
and
to
had
be making all
babies,
my
but
covers. Listen.
that's all I had to do was just basically reteach myself Photoshop later on because the program changed, obviously
Yeah.
20 years later, but I have like the design background.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. I can do like a few things in it, but like I'm not a cover artist, and so I wish I did. You and Nikki Sloan. I know Sky can make covers. She made a couple of my last ones, the ebook versions. And so like, but that's gotten worse.
Mhm.
Like it's just, and photographers would look me dead in the eye and be like, I don't have like, no, I don't have any. And they were like, they don't sell. And now, and I was like, they're not lying is the problem.
But here's another thing too. Just not even just photographers. Something that I've noticed only because I had to make a graphic for something with like people of color. So I just typed in deposit photos, sexy romantic couple. Everybody was white.
Everybody,
Everybody. I had
everybody.
to specifically say, and so I feel like even just our systems are just trained to automatically,
Oh no.
yeah,
Stock photos are the seventh circle of hell.
yeah,
Which takes people back to like the AI conversation,
yeah,
right? Because like I'm sure you saw that whole like kerfuffle that went online like a few weeks ago, month ago.
about
Um
the AI
ab-
covers.
about AI covers and like a specific like a book event and like one author who was like popping off. And then and I was like, no one wants to ask the nuanced question. No one wants to ask that because for authors of color,
Mhm.
I hate AI. Like it's coming for our jobs. And PS, OpenAI stole all like if I tell you how many books they stole from me,
Oh, I'm getting a big check next. No, not
big
next year.
check.
This year.
Can't
This
wait.
year. This year. I'm getting a big check from
Is it
OpenAI.
coming this year?
Yeah,
I can't
July.
wait.
It's supposed to hit in July from that
I'm like,
lawsuit.
listen, man, like I was like, I'm about to pay for like a year of my daughter's college with that check.
Hmm.
That's how much they stole from me.
Hmm.
And I'm
Oh no,
like,
they stole more than that. But it's just we're capped at
yeah, they
3,000
stole
per
more
book.
than that.
Yeah.
But like I was like, so like this is not me being everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, Nana said, but I'm going to be like, y'all need to be able to have nuanced conversations.
Hmm. No, I agree. I
Because
feel like there's.
like for the authors of color who had been trying to find stock photos and have to like resort to photoshopping two people who are not in the same image together, for the authors of color who had to model on their own covers, like what were because I solved my problem by hitting the gym, calling Wander and like being like, all right, let's do this. And like praying to God nobody noticed that I was so nervous and had no idea what I'm doing. PS, those guys are really hot. I deserve a medal for like not losing my shit. I want a medal. But like, because I was like, guys, yes, I solved a problem for myself, but
Yeah.
why did I have to do that? It was like my own little protest song. So like it's gotten worse, and I'm just like, how do we solve it so that people don't have to do this? Now there are like a few smaller houses that I've seen recently. Like my social media manager Flavia sent me one. She's like, I found this one, and like they've got a few, and like you're starting to see like even with like people are doing a lot of video ads now. Like you'll start to see like a few video captioning, but what you will not see, you still don't see this, especially since I write a lot of interracial, is you won't see a beautiful Black woman. You'll see like a normal average looking Black woman with like her normal average looking like white husband,
Mhm.
but you won't see a really hot Black girl with like a really hot white dude holding hands. Like there's no Nicolandria for my Love Island watchers in this. You're just not going to see it. Which for
And this is
romance,
a
that's what you
situation
need.
where like you said, like AI, like we need to have like better conversations about this because everyone is so anti-AI.
Yeah,
And while yes, I feel like I fight it, especially because of like the threats that it brings to
yeah,
our jobs and things. But we also need to have the conversations about the good things that it can do and be more open to first of all, everybody has to make their own decision when it comes to
yeah.
AI. And I'm not going to sit there and judge you for using this version of AI or this person.
It's
Like it's
it's
to me,
it's
everybody
that
has to have
part.
their own
It's
code. Everybody has to have their own code of ethics
right.
surrounding it. And we can't judge people's reasoning,
It's
I
yes,
feel
it's
like.
the
Yeah.
for me the nuance is in the judgment because
Mhm.
I'm like, because let me find out that you were doing the same thing, but we
Yeah.
couldn't clock it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was
Mhm.
like, I don't like it. And how I fight for it is I'm literally out there advocating. Like
Mhm.
we don't me as a rep as a co-president of Audio and Color,
Mhm.
we want to keep our authors away from AI audio.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
have a
well, that's
whole
actually a hard
foundation.
line for me actually is audiobook, like the AI
Yeah,
audiobooks. That
it's
makes me because I love audio.
me
I'm a huge
too.
audiobook
And like
listener.
I'm like it
They
sounds
can't do it. They
terrible.
can't. I'm sorry, AI, they can't perform. It's like giving your readers tuna fish when they expect caviar. That's the way I
Yes,
describe it.
and
Yeah.
so like I was like instead of like because I could stand here and scream all day,
Mhm.
but like to me that's ineffectual.
Mhm.
I'm going to do something. What did I do with my friend? We started a thing to
Mhm.
help authors
Mhm.
produce their first audio. And then from that, take the money to be able to pay for their next productions. That's what we've
I
done.
also think like education is very important too, because usually the authors that are typically using AI for their audiobooks now, they're not listeners
They don't
and
listen.
they don't
They don't
realize
listen.
what they are doing, like to their own brand. They're
They don't
cheapening their brand by using this AI. I mean,
they don't
okay,
listen.
can you listen to an audiobook that's AI? Yeah, I suppose if you wanted to read nonfiction and things like that, it serves a purpose. But when you're dealing with romance and emotions and like the AI just can't hit that. They can't
I
hit those
can't.
marks.
But
They can't
what
happen.
I will
Yeah.
say again, so that I'm following what I preach, but like I'm taking steps to lead people away from that
Mhm.
decision.
Yes. Hmm.
I won't say it's my decision because I also know it's an accessibility point,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And for me, okay, most of my books are in audio, not great audio because some of these companies,
Oh,
but
yeah. I've
girl,
made some mistakes with some stuff too, but
we've all made mistakes,
yeah.
but like I would say like 90% of my catalog is in audio now.
Hmm.
Um, but like at the end of the day, I recognize, like, I'm not dumb. I
Yeah.
recognize that it's an accessibility point for some
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right? And so like I'm like, well, I'm not going to cast any stones, but what I am going to do is I'm going to do something about it,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, like I was like, I'm with you, let's go. But like, I'm not going to ever like wreck anybody else for their choices of what they got to do to make a thing
Mhm.
happen,
The other
especially
thing,
when they're in a marginalized community. I
going back to the
just,
business end of it though, and this is where I'm talking about the education. So when you're talking about accessibility, like if you are, they'd say the number is like for every like 10 ebooks you sell, assuming you're advertising whatever, for every 10 ebooks you sell, you send one audiobook and that
yeah,
sell one audio. So if you do the math, that's how long it'll take you to earn out. So if you're not selling 10 audiobooks or 10 ebooks in like a day,
Hmm.
then you're probably not going to, then you probably shouldn't have audio for right now. Focus your time and energy on other aspects of your business. And those are other, like foreign translations, for example, like that's like a huge, like
Translations.
those, like, oh my God, they earn out in like a matter of like a month, right? Like they earn out
For
so fast.
you,
All right, we'll
like
talk
not
offline. We're going to talk
everyone.
offline about this because
We're
like
gonna talk all. No,
you
I
pay
mean,
for
well, the
all
thing,
your audio with your foreign translations. I
girl. No, I finally put up my like. Listen, do you know, girl? I spent so much money on translations in the last year and a
oh,
half,
trust me. Tell me about it. I know.
and then, oh no, you're gonna yell at me. And then I haven't put them all up. But listen,
What? Okay. You're literally leaving money on the table. Like I am gonna yell at you. Oh, you muted. What happened? Are you there?
am I muted?
Oh, now you're there. I didn't hear you. I don't know. You went silent. I couldn't hear you. Okay, now I can hear you.
That's crazy.
Okay, you're there. You're
Um,
good.
maybe someone's trying to send me messages.
No.
But oh yeah, I do have to go in like 10 minutes. But like,
Oh, we've gone long. We're chit-chatting. We didn't even get to reader questions. Oh crap. Hang on. All right, we're talking way too long. All right,
okay,
let me blow through these really quick.
you
Hang
can
on.
edit. You
Okay,
can
yeah.
edit how you need.
Yeah, I can edit some of this because we got a little long. I don't know where to edit though, because I feel like it was all very good, engaging conversation. Okay, real quick, before we get to the reader questions, I just want to remind you if you have stuck with us for this long, to hit the like button to help improve the visibility so that everybody can find us. Okay, so I have Ivy from Brooksville, Florida. This question is for both of us. She wants to know what book changed your life as a teenager?
Oh, as a
That's an easy one for
teenager.
me. I feel like it was for me, it was well, two. I fell in love with reading because of Sweet Valley High. I wanted to win some reading contest. And it was just I hated reading. And I was the competitive
Oh,
side of me wanted to win this Pizza Hut. Remember when they did like the book it, the pan pizzas, those
uh-huh.
personal
I
pan
remember.
pizzas? I wanted to win the pizza party and I did. And I won like I read like a million of those books and I won. But I feel like the one that was life changing, or not
Mhm.
life changing, but it really kind of put me in the trajectory and what I ended up reading and then eventually wrote, was actually Flowers in the Attic of the VC Andrews. So messed up story. But I'm like, there's a reason why I like dark romance. Apparently, I had this thing for dark and twisty even when I was
Well,
like too young to read it.
my favorite part is that you read that in high school and I was 10. When I read
No.
that.
I was probably like 14 when I read it. So are you in high school then?
No, you're 14. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. No, but that was all the girls in my like fifth grade were reading it, and I went to the library and got it. Like my
In
mom had
fifth grade,
no
I
idea
went
what I
to
was doing.
Catholic school. We didn't have those
Oh,
books.
I went to Catholic school for high school too.
No,
I
eighth grade. No, kindergarten through eighth grade. So I went
okay.
to public school then for high school, and it was like culture shock. Holy crap. It was
Oh,
like I was exposed to like the bus with public school kids. When, like, it was like,
yes, girl,
yeah, it was
because
scary.
they're gonna get you all the things.
Yep.
For me, I think honestly, it was Kafir Boy by this. Actually, I'm saying that wrong. I think it's Kaffa Boy by Mark Matherbane, South African writer who talked about like his growing up in apartheid South Africa. And it was like my first time reading like another African writer who wasn't like from Ghana, like the books your parents were like, read Kwame Nkrumah's thing, and you're like, okay. But I read that and it changed, like kind of like I was like, oh, so we're all having a similar experience, and I felt like not as alone. So that was like number one, and then like I can't remember the title of this book. However, I was 13 years old and I like just going into high school the summer before I went into high school. And it was my cousin handed me like a Mills and Boone romance. And I'd never read romance before because I have African parents, so that was not gonna fly. And she was like kissing day inside. And I was like, what do you mean? And there we were, like huddled under her bed and just like reading like Mills and Boone kissing books. And that changed the complete trajectory because then I was obsessed with romance. And I was obsessed with like, why these people and not these people? Why don't those people get together? Because on paper, like I was obsessed with why like the heroine would always choose the bad boy. And I'm like, no, you choose the guy going to college. I was just obsessed with relationships. And obviously that's how I got here into romance. I have like not stopped reading romance since because that changed everything. Those
Yeah.
two books.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel like again, even though it was like, incestual, it was like a couple thing. And then I,
Listen,
I ended up going into like
Flowers in the
reading more
Attic was hot
romance
shit.
later.
I don't know what you like. And we all read it. We all loved it. Would I let
And
my
but
daughter
looking
read it
back,
now?
it was like, oh
Absolutely
my
not.
God, this was so bad. Like I can't believe I was reading this. Yeah. But okay, so now I have Noelle from Ithaca, New York. This is also for both of us. Have you ever written a character based on yourself? I could say no, but there's a lot of me in woven into a lot of my characters, but none of them have been based on me.
Yeah, I would say no-ish, but two of my characters were loosely based on like times in my life. The first one, I guess the series, the London Royal series, which previously was London Bound and London Calling. Um I did my master's in London and I went to London, and like the people that you like read in the books, those are real people to me. Like the roommate and the best friend and the whatever, like their names are changed and whatever. Sometimes their sexes are changed, but like those people like existed and were part of like a hilarious, awesome, really fun time when I was in London. But like the character's not me, like none of that happened to me. So like I meet an Alexi? Yes, I did.
Mhm.
And did he live on a houseboat? Yes, he sure as hell did. And was he fine? He sure was, but he did not fall in love with me. He was not a prince and did not whisk me off my feet. So I'm not in a castle, guys. The other one that is like loosely based on a time in my life, or like patches of my life, Gold Coast Dilemma, my trad book I just released last year. It really encapsulates like what like growing up like Ghanaian really meant to me. Um and the kind of people that like I grew up with and whatever, like kind of like those like areas. But I did not meet my husband in a very sexy office romance, where my mother is desperately trying to get me married. I wasn't,
Yeah.
I didn't get dumped by a fiance or anything like that. But like the scale in the world very much do exist.
The closest for me when you're comparing all that, I did do a standalone called The Sound of Silence, and it deals with a lot of domestic abuse. And between like my history before I met my knight in shining armor, and then I also interviewed a bunch of other women. I basically
Mhm.
combined a lot of real life stories
Yeah.
into a fiction novel, so it became. I'd say about 60% of that book is based on real life events, even though it's fiction.
Yeah.
I gave her, a sexy gym owner who didn't actually, he didn't like save her. She saves herself, but
Yes.
he becomes my heroines tend to save themselves. They're never
Yeah,
bonded in distress.
that's what I want. I'm like, please don't save me. I mean, be coming to save me because I want to know that you would save me. But
Yes,
I
yes,
already undid my own ties,
yes,
my own zip ties,
exactly.
and I was already making my
Exactly.
way out.
All right, I'm going to squeeze in just one more. Since most of this, I feel like podcast was like geared towards authors more. I
Mhm.
feel like we had more shop talk than reader talk, which is totally fine because we have listeners. We have both audiences. I'm going to go more towards an author question. I've got Kay from Laramie, Wyoming. She says she has two rom-com books published. What advice would you give to authors who feel unseen?
I mean, the best advice I ever got was write another one.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, write what you enjoy writing, write what you would read, because you're not writing to be seen.
Yeah.
You're writing for yourself,
Mhm.
hopefully. If you're writing for validation or to be seen, I have this lovely woman you should call. Her name is Heather Hildebrand, and she's going to walk you through like 2 years of coaching, which she did for me, to really make that not your focus, because your focus is the kind of stories you want to tell. Because if you're telling authentic, like really fun, amazing stories that you love and that you would read, the readers will find you eventually. That's the like esoteric version. The more like planted version is write another book, but really hone in on what your genre is, what you love, and stick to the genre conventions. I have got know the rules before you can break the rules, is what I'll say, and then get a newsletter, because social
Newsletter for
media,
sure. Yeah.
yeah,
I
because
feel
social
like,
media, you don't own that, and TikTok has now been taken over by, the Gestapo.
yeah.
So, you don't own those people and they can cancel your account at any time. You can lose every single follower you have. Get a newsletter.
I feel like I have like two things on that, like for feeling unseen. Because I don't really know what she means, like unseen, like if her books are unseen or if she's unseen.
Yeah,
So I feel like if you think it's your books, I would say, first of all, there's always somebody who does it better than you.
always.
Arrogant new authors are no, like
Oh,
there's
girl,
like
we
no,
could
no, no, like
we
no,
could
no, no. There's always somebody who does it better than you. So take the classes, listen to advice of seasoned authors, and also know that like just because it works for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
yeah.
Like you have to find your own path.
Yes.
And then this kind of leads into the next thing. It's just is community. I feel like the author community is so supportive, and you have to find your people.
Yeah.
Find your people because those are the ones that are going to help you and lift you up and teach you.
Yeah.
That's those
100%.
are yeah, those are my
Yeah.
two things.
100%. Because like I would not be where I am without like people taking me under their wing, mentors, but also just like really lovely people who are like, you look like you need a friend,
Yeah.
and like sat down and talked to me.
Hmm.
Cause like everyone thinks that I'm outgoing, but I'm really not. I can be quite shy. And so like conventions and things like that, like go to the thing, but like just try and like have an open face and someone will come and talk to you.
My God, I'm the queen of resting bitch face. I just look, people don't even want to approach me. So I walk around at these conventions and I have like by the end of the day, my face hurts
Yeah.
because it doesn't naturally like smile. And I know this is like, I should not focus on this, but it is like something I'm so self-conscious about. I just don't look like approachable. So I'm always very,
But who
people are like,
told you
oh, you're
that?
great. And I'm like, yeah, once you start talking to me, I'm fine. But like, if you don't know me, like, I just look like a crabby person. You don't want to talk to me. So I have to make this, like, it's very uncomfortable, like making this
Yeah.
effort to like speak to humans.
It can be. And the thing is, what I just like tend to just try to remind myself of, like, authors are awkward.
Hmm.
Authors are awkward, readers are awkward. Chances are someone else is going to be awkward, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
just do the thing. Like do the thing. Like even if you feel awkward. I should take my own advice.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up since we went like really long. Just tell me real quick, what's your unpopular opinion?
Unpopular opinion. It's the same one that you already said. Like I love a new author because I'm like, oh, someone else cool that's doing a thing. I'm the first one to go buy a thing and I'm super excited. But like, don't be arrogant. Don't be arrogant. And I think that goes for like everyone in the space. Like even if you're like a little seasoned in the space, don't be a dick. Like don't tag authors in reviews. I'm not going to look for your review.
Yeah.
I would never have found it.
Yeah.
Don't tag me because don't send for me don't come for me unless I send for you.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion at all. I think that's, I think
but
that.
like there's a level of arrogance I find with a lot of like
Mhm.
people that are new to a space, like, and I think that that's like a sign of the times,
Mhm.
because people think like just because they have a way to get their voice heard that everyone needs to hear them speak. And I'm like, no, you're better off if you're just quiet at
Mhm.
first, learn a little, take the classes, take the thing, read more, understand more, ask questions.
And even the
um
seasoned authors who speak in absolutes, I don't
yeah,
subscribe to that either.
same
Yeah.
for that. I'm like,
Mhm.
guys, the world is changing.
Mhm.
Like the number of times I say the world is changing, if you do not adapt you will get left behind. The
Mhm.
people from when I started writing that are no longer here,
Yeah.
that's all I got to say about that.
Well, mine is my unpopular opinion might be, I don't know. I don't know if you want to call it more or less controversial, but it's not book related. It's more about the auto sinks in public bathrooms. I feel like they should be banned. I stand there in front of the sink in a public washroom begging it for it to acknowledge my hands. I'm like, seriously, like I mean, we look like idiots. Sorry, that was my biggest pet peeve because I was like, I don't know where the heck I was yesterday. I'm standing there like going like this.
No, you're
Yeah.
right though.
Yeah, they should be
I
banned.
would I would rather prefer one, and I know that they're trying to be like, don't touch it, but I'm like, I'd rather bump it with
Just
my
bump it with
wrist or
with
something.
your wrist. Yes. Yeah. So,
That's a solid one. That's a solid one.
so okay, this has been fun. We
It
will
has
definitely
been.
chat offline about ads and all that stuff. We'll get together. But thank you so much for joining me today. This
Of
was fun.
course,
I knew
thank
it was
you.
going to be. And to all the listeners, don't forget to follow me and Nana. I'm going to have all of our links in the YouTube description so you can find us easy.
Yes.
And again, hit the like so that people can find us, all that good stuff. And then we will chat soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into the More Than Words podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and consider sharing it with your friends so more people can find us. The more people we have listening, the more fun we can have on our shows. And most of all, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting authors everywhere. Thanks and happy reading.